Welcome everyone to R3 of the 4 R's, resell, and how to maximize lifetime value of a customer. Getting more upsells and cross sells, and really taking your transactional value or the lifetime value and boosting it. So make sure if you've got any questions, put them in the chat box on the right, and let's get started. So next 30 minutes, I'm going to define what a resell, cross-sell, and upsell is, and talk about why knowing and increasing the lifetime value of a customer, that number, that value number, is so vital when it comes to this, and some strategies that you can do to increase the lifetime value, your cross-sells, upsells, resells, that sort of thing. So again, here's the 4 R's. We're climbing up the pyramid. We're on resell now, and definition of resell, very straightforward: to sell again, right? And I'm going to use the example of McDonald's. You can see some people buy over and over and over again when they go there. Now, the definition of cross-sell is a marketing term for the practice of suggesting related products or services to a customer who's considering buying something. So in McDonald's, let's say you're buying a hamburger, they'll ask you, would you like fries with that? Right? It's a related product or service so they can increase the transactional value or the lifetime value of that customer. And then third one, upsell. So a sales technique whereby a seller induces the customer to purchase more expensive items, upgrades, or other add-ons in an attempt to make a more profitable sale. And so again, going to the McDonald's example, it's, would you like to supersize that? Right? So instead of the regular fries and soda, would you supersize that, for only 20 cents more, 50 cents more? So they're getting you to buy an upgrade or a more expensive version of it to, again, increase that transactional value, to increase the lifetime value of their customers. And when you put it all together, you have a super profit system, right? They've got unbeatable upsell, and they've got a downsell, they've got cross sells, just so many ways where they just squeeze out every little bit of income they can in every transaction. And that's what makes that company so successful. And so you've got to do that in your business. You've got to really find those areas where you're leaving money on the table, the places where you can increase those transactional values. So ask yourself, what are you doing to upsell, cross-sell, and repeat sell to maximize the lifetime value of your customer base? And if you don't have a system in place for any of this, if you don't even know the answer to this question, then you've got to sit down and really look at where you are in these areas and what you're doing proactively and systematically to increase them. So, one thing you got to remember is everyone is looking for the cheap and easy way to get customers, right? It's human nature. But in reality, getting customers, it's not easy. It isn't cheap. And one of the biggest mistakes a business owner makes is not appreciating and valuing the true value of getting and keeping a customer. Okay, and this is really, really important. And I'm amazed at how many business owners do not understand this, do not know this. So, the lifetime value of a customer is the revenue times the gross margin times the number of transactions. Okay? So the revenue times your gross margin times the number of transactions. So I'll give you an example of this. So let's say an average client is worth $30,000, right? They're only going to do one transaction with you, and your gross margin is 40%. So gross margin just being the revenue minus the cost of goods sold. So that leaves you with $12,000. Okay. Now you can spend 10% of that amount on your marketing, which is probably a good solid number, right? So 10% of that 12,000, you can spend $1,200 to get a new client. Now look at your marketing budget, look at where you are, and ask yourself, am I spending what I can? Because the person who knows this number, who knows what they can actually spend based on the numbers and who is spending that amount is going to win. They're going to be all over the place and dominating the market. And you have to look at this as an investment and not a cost. The real cost is not finding this number and not investing in it. Okay? And another thing here is looking at the lifetime value of a customer. It's so much cheaper to retain a customer and to resell to a customer, right? And they generate you a lot more profit every year, right? And you can see in this graph, and they also will generate you referrals as well, leading to more customers. So it's really important that you not only keep customers and you know what you can spend to acquire them, but you want to get that lifetime value as high as you can, that transactional value as high as you can, because then the higher the transactional value, the higher that lifetime value, the more you can spend on marketing. And the more you can spend on marketing, oftentimes the more money you're going to generate and the more you're going to dominate your market. Okay? So how do you increase your resells? Well, first you want to leverage different media and approach your prospects and clients from several angles. So you may do some direct mail, you may do some email, social media, right? A couple different angles. And enter the conversation in your customer's mind. That's a big one. Okay? The reason that so many companies will do, special sales around holidays is because that's the conversation that's already going on in a customer's mind. And so there's less friction there. And finally, make your campaigns unique so you stand out from the competition. You want to be creative. You want to get noticed, okay? You need attention when it comes to this sort of thing. So, on a more pragmatic level, you can do this through social media. So, first and foremost, just staying in touch with customers. I'm amazed at how many businesses don't regularly keep in touch with their past clients and staying on top of their minds. It's unbelievable to me. You can do promotions, you can do contests, you can have people check in. There's all sorts of things you can do to get people to buy from you again or to buy more when they do. And evaluate your sales process, right? Are there certain things you can put together to get people to buy that next level or to buy a related product that you can throw in and maybe discount it, something like that? Again, loyalty reward programs. Every business has one of those annoying little cards that you have to put on your keychain or keep in your wallet, and there's a reason for it. Okay, it's because they know that if they can get you to keep coming back, it's so much cheaper than if they have to get someone new in the door. Okay, and so you've got to create ways that you can keep your customers loyal to you and your brand. Another thing you can do, have a monthly or quarterly theme, right? Entering that conversation in their head. So there's almost a holiday every month or every quarter that you could kind of circle a resell or an upsell or something around that. And as always, be creative with this sort of stuff. Here's an example, car dealers and furniture stores, they do a lot of the Labor Day sales and Christmas sales and Memorial Day sales. And again, it's entering that conversation that's already in your head. You're already thinking of these holidays. So here are two examples. I've used these in our first webinar, but last Thanksgiving, not this Thanksgiving because it's way too cold to be golfing, but last Thanksgiving, I had the clubs put away, wasn't thinking about golf or anything, and I get an email from one of my favorite golf courses saying, we're going to be open. Come on out and golf. And I was just shocked, right? It was the furthest thing from my mind. And I didn't even think it was possible. So I forwarded the email to a bunch of people, and a buddy and his dad ended up going golfing, and the golf course probably made $100 resale. And an email's very cheap, next to nothing to send out. And they just made another $100. So they increased that lifetime value, and they did it very cheaply. On the right there, I got a massage from I think it was a Living Social deal. And, I did the deal And then I kind of forgot about them for a few months. And then they sent this email saying, we've got this special with the breast cancer awareness. And boom, they got me and my wife to buy, a bunch of massages. And again, I wasn't thinking about them, but both of these examples they entered the conversation in my head in terms of the holiday, in terms of, breast cancer awareness in October. And they both made a really nice resell and increased that lifetime value. So the big takeaway here, okay, I knew we kind of flew through this pretty fast, but the more value you generate from each customer, the less you have to spend, but the more you can spend on your marketing. And what this means is that if you're able to resell people, it's very, very cheap, right? So it's a lesser amount that you have to spend. But because that lifetime value is going up and up and up, the more you can spend to acquire that customer in the beginning. All right. And so there's many effective or cost effective and trackable ways to bring customers back, to upsell, to cross sell. You've just got to sit down and come up with a strategy and a plan for doing so and just start working it. And, if it doesn't go quite right, it's not failure, it's feedback, right? So keep tweaking it and figure out ways that you can do this in a way that maybe benefits your customers. And know that getting new customers is expensive, so you can't leave money on the table. And you've got to, as they say, milk the cows in your own barn for you folksy people out there, right? So instead of always trying to go out there, get a new customer, I got to get new leads, look at what you've already got. Look at the base you've already built, and can you extract more out of that much easier and much more cost effectively? Chances are you probably can. So I don't see any questions right now, but as always, the replay will be available in the remodellersacademy.com. You'll get an email about it as well. And next week, we'll be finishing up the 4Rs. We're going to be doing referrals, which will be a really interesting one. And then we'll be moving on to other topics. So again, replay will be at the remodellersacademy.com. You can sign up for other webinars there, and be sure to check out the podcast. And I hope you all had a good Thanksgiving, and we will see you next week.